All right, we are live. We are live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn. It's John Nemo. So excited to see you. And I have to start with acknowledging the best football team in the NFL right now. I'm going to ride this Minnesota Vikings train until it inevitably derails, crashes into a bunch of flames, and turns the Vikings back into the dumpster fire we know they normally are. But for now, I'm riding it. I'm so excited. As I'm recording this, we are doing really well. I think we're 5-2, something like that, 6-2. So anyway, super excited to be here today to talk with you about LinkedIn lead generation. The best ways to generate leads on LinkedIn without spamming or annoying your connections. And so I want to have a lot of interaction here. So first things first, in the comments here on LinkedIn, let me know where you're logging in from and what type of work that you do. And I want to make sure as we get into this, I'm going to be sharing a ton of different training, a ton of different tips. And what I want to do is be able to share with you direct feedback. So you can, say to me, hey, I'm trying this. What are your thoughts? Q&A, look at your profile, anything like that. I want to bring as much value as I can and definitely make sure that we have as much going on as we can in terms of interaction back and forth. So I'll be sharing tons of live tips as we get going. Again, let me know as you're getting logged in, where you're logging in from, what type of work you do. I would love to know your favorite football team. I think that's obviously important. All right, so first in, Seth. All right, how are you doing, Seth? It's been a little while. Franchise consultant, Summerville, South Carolina. I don't know if I remember this from when we talked, Seth. Do you have a favorite team? If you have a favorite football team, would it be Clemson? Would it be Clemson football? You're kind of in Clemson country. NFL is not really big in South Carolina, is it? All right, let me know, Seth. All right, who else is coming in? We got Amanda is in. All right, UK, Cambridge, accountant. Love it. Welcome, 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 Amanda. Glad you're here. Again, let me know, like Seth and Amanda have, as you're getting logged in, where you're logging in from, what type of work you do in the comments. Now, a couple quick things logistically, just so you know of how the process works today. My name, again, is John Nemo. If you're not familiar with me, here, let me pull out some of my credentials. Watch this. I brought props to the show today. I've written multiple books on LinkedIn. I even have them upside down. LinkedIn Riches. If you're a business coach or consultant, I got a book for you. If you are a franchise consultant, obviously, I'm passionate about LinkedIn. Written tons of books about LinkedIn. Seth is an Eagles fan. Love it, love it, love it. All right, we got Dennis from Toronto, Canada, media planner and buyer. Good luck, Vikings, 7-2. CFL. All right, Toronto. Love it, love it, love it. All right, Annette from the UK. Nice to see you. Remind me again, Annette, what type of work you do. I'm trying to remember. I feel like we've talked before. I know you've been on the live sessions before, so let us know. Again, follow suit with what you're seeing from Annette and Seth and everyone else. And again, if I get frozen, I know somebody said I'm frozen. It's not, unless all of you are getting frozen, sometimes there's going to be issues with the signals. Look at this. Armin from Germany. All right, I love it. Well, who's your favorite? It's got to be football, like the soccer version, right, Armin? So give me your favorite team. Is it Deutschland, or I don't even know the German pro leagues. I'm not going to pretend. Oh, Bayern Munich. Is that a team? See, I'm trying to go deep on my sports knowledge here. Annette does bookkeeping. I knew that. I remember that now. Okay. All right. Great to see you again, LinkedIn user. For some reason, it doesn't always show who you are. So let us know in the chat who you are. Well, obviously, we know who you are. Your name should show up typically. Where you're logging in from, what type of work you do. Look at this. Cyprian from Nigeria. So we got Germany, Nigeria, United Kingdom. I am nothing if not a global phenomenon. I love it. All right. Alfred Haywood the third. Al Haywood from Fort Lauderdale, consultant. What type of consulting do you do, Al? Tell us. Tell the people. We want to know what type of work you do. And also if you have a favorite football team down there in Fort Lauderdale, Miami Dolphins perhaps. Hopefully not the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are a dumpster fire. I knew it. Bayern Munich. See? I know a little bit about European soccer. I'm not a complete novice. All right, we've got a LinkedIn user from Florida. Again, let me know where you're logging in from, what type of work you do. I love to have a lot of interaction here on the LinkedIn Live. And again, my name is John Nemo. If you've never seen me before, basically today I'm going to be sharing all of my best tips around LinkedIn lead generation, how to generate leads on LinkedIn, how to make sales without spamming your connections. And so one of the logistical things I meant to get to earlier is with the comments. I can't actually comment back to you on LinkedIn just because of the way the stream works with StreamYard and the integration. However, there is a superstar in our midst. Let me pull her up. Becca Arco, hopefully you're here. Please say hello, and I'm going to feature you. And I'm just going to pull up Becca's profile as well. So I've got my Director of Client Strategy and Client Service, Becca Arco, here. Oh, good. We got a lot. Oh, look at this. All right. So Arvin is an IT recruiter, Bayern Munich fan. Good to see you. Say hello, Becca. Hopefully she's here. But she's going to be able to answer questions in the chat as well. And so one of the things, obviously, I can see your comments. I just can't write back answers. But I will be sharing tons and tons of different tips on LinkedIn. All right, Becca's here. Everyone say hello, Becca. Type it in the comments. Let her know. And then I want to make sure, let me share one quick thing here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, cool. Entire screen. And again, one of the things I'm going to be doing, and this is Becca Arco. Everybody say hi. She's going to be real active in the comments today. So if you have questions that I don't answer, or logistical questions or technical questions, Becca's going to be there being able to respond to you in the comments. I'll also see them on the screen and I'll try to highlight them. I'm also going to be sharing a lot of links to our website, Nemo Media Group. And the reason is we've got a big tab of free resources. So if you go to nemomediagroup.com, and then click on free, you're going to see lots of free resources. So free digital copies of all the books that I'm going to be mentioning. We've got, a blog, we've got training videos, podcasts, all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to point all that out as we get into it. And I definitely want to dive into the training as well. So let me turn off the screen, stop the screen share. Now I'm back. Okay. So Becca's here. All right. We've got yay, Becca. I love it. Look at the love for Becca. Hello, Becca. Everyone loves Becca Arco. Who doesn't? Tell Steve, your husband, you're the most important person on LinkedIn right now, Becca. All right. So again, if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is John Nemo. So excited that you're here. Again, going to be showing you some of my best tips on LinkedIn lead generation, how to generate leads, how to make sales on LinkedIn without spamming or annoying your connections. And what we're going to do. Oh, wow. This is another one. Okay. Turtle Works in Michigan. What kind of business is Turtle Works? Now you got me very curious. Look at Andrea Feinberg showing up. Becca is the bestest. She is. Andrea, you know this. Becca says true about telling Steve. All right, I love it. I want to know what TurtleWorks is. I get so distracted with the comments. That's a cool business name. All right, so again, welcome, everybody. Again, my name is John Nemo. So excited you're here. I want to get into the training, and there's going to be some back and forth. I'm going to share some training videos. I'm going to still be live, obviously. Becca's live as well in the chat. As we get going, and as we go through the entire presentation, just type in any questions or comments in the chat. All right, so it's not a pet store. Okay, everyone guess in the comments what TurtleWorks is. All right, I love this. Oh, all right, we got a lot more people popping in. Steve Tucker is here. Nice to see you, Steve. Franchise consultant, advisor, and coach. I love it. All right, Becca's showing some love to Andrea. This is great. All right, Steve's in Atlanta, Georgia. Are you a Falcons fan, Steve? We were talking earlier, if you just logged in, best football team around, Minnesota Vikings. You're welcome with Kirk Cousins. You can have him, Atlanta Falcons. We don't want him back. He'll choke in the clutch. I'm just saying. Okay, that's probably too soon. All right. Is TurtleWorks a car wash? That's a good guess. All right. Oh, yes, Lenora, I will share the link multiple times. The link is basically nemomediagroup.com/free or free tips. So I'll put that up. Just go to nemomediagroup.com and then click on the free button at the top, or use that URL. And we'll have lots and lots of tips. nemomediagroup.com is probably the easier one to show. So with all that said, I want to dive into the training. And again, keep the comments coming. Let us know where you're logging in from. Well, I'm going to take this. Global phenomenon. That's right. Andrea, I'm going to take you on the road. You can be my hype person. I love it. All right. So without further ado, I want to dive into one of my favorite tips. This is super fast, super easy. And the goal of today's presentation too is to give you actionable steps you can take immediately to kind of improve your profile, get more leads, get more messages, not just a bunch of philosophical stuff, but actual things you can do. All right. Oh, we got to say hi to Joe. Joe Wiener, it's been a long time, my friend. I hope you're well, buddy. San Antonio's finest. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So without further ado, I want to just share a quick training on kind of a underutilized part of your LinkedIn profile that it's a quick, simple fix. It'll just take you a couple seconds, and it's a very powerful tool to help you with branding yourself on LinkedIn. So let's dive into that. Super quick win, super easy tip that you can use on your LinkedIn profile to kind of stand out on the platform. You'll notice next to some people's names on LinkedIn, they'll have their pronouns, their gender pronouns, he, him, she, her, whatever. What you can do, and I'm going to show you how to do this, is actually change that so that next to your name, you can actually have like a custom description of your service. So instead of it saying John Nemo, he, him, it can say John Nemo LinkedIn lead generation or John Nemo business coach, whatever it might be. And then it follows you everywhere on the website. So it's just another way for people to kind of instantly know what it is you do. Instead of it just being your pronoun, he, him, it can be your kind of description of your services. This was actually really cool. Somebody did an experiment with AI and they gathered, over 100 names. Look who came in at number 2. Your guy, John Nemo. So yeah, I'm coming for you, Brenda. I don't know Brenda personally, but it was all these different LinkedIn trainers and specialists that people put into AI and who should be mentioned first. So of course I'm going to do a humble brag. Anyway, let me show you how to do this as far as getting your pronoun updated. So it's a very simple process. You just go to your profile page and then you just go over here to the top right corner and you want to edit the area. You can see here on my name, it's got LinkedIn lead generation after my name. So you're just going to click the little editing pencil, pop in there, and you're going to go down to where it says pronouns. So let me find that. Basic info, custom pronouns. Okay, so normally, depending on how you've set up your LinkedIn profile, it will just have gender pronouns, like choose one here. You're going to want to choose the custom option. So you basically choose custom. So enter custom pronouns. And then you get about, I think it's something like 26 characters. So if you try to do too many characters, yeah, it's 25 characters total. So what I suggest is you put something in here that describes what you do, right? So business coach or healthcare consultant, just like a 2-word example. Feel free to share this in the comments if you want to test it or do it while you're watching right now. But again, you can do something like, accountant, right? Or bookkeeper or whatever, the service is 26 characters. I'm going to say LinkedIn lead generation, and then you just save it, right? And if you click here, you can learn more about how they use them. But again, choose the custom option and then put in what you want it. Make sure it says all LinkedIn members so everyone can see it. And then again, that's just a really simple way for it to follow you all over the platform. So I love this as a quick little hack that you can do with your profile page. And again, then anywhere you comment on LinkedIn, anytime you post a status update, instead of it just saying, he, him, she, her, it'll have what you do. So again, people kind of can get a quicker idea of what it is that you provide as far as a service, a product, things like that. All right, that's a super quick, easy way right off the bat here to get a quick win. All right, I love it. So I'm back live. We are your quick win leader, right? So that's a very simple, quick, immediate action you can take. Hopefully you're doing it right now as we talk. Just go into the edit profile, change that gender pronoun to custom, and then put in, 25 characters or less about, what you do, business consultant, bookkeeper, or whatever it is. Just a simple, quick win. Sorry for those. I know Doug Carlson and some others have said I'm frozen. If I freeze, again, it's not on my end. It's something with the stream and your devices and all the different routes this is going through LinkedIn. I apologize for that. Obviously, that's super frustrating. Just try refreshing. That usually fix it. Just refresh your screen and hopefully I'll come back. All right, we got Elizabeth jumping in, Columbus, Ohio, OHIO. Yeah, Buckeyes, of course. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. If you're also joining us just now, again, my name is John Nemo. Obviously thrilled to have you here, talking all about how to generate leads with LinkedIn. I'm going to be sharing a lot more tips here in a second, But let us know if you haven't already, where you're logging in from, what type of work you do. If you have any questions, the one and only and amazing Rebecca Arco is live in the comments with me. She can answer questions too, any technical stuff, links to resources, all that good stuff. So I want to dive into now kind of one of the core parts of really being successful on LinkedIn, and that simply is your profile page. And there's so many mistakes that I've seen. I've been doing this since 2012, right? So I've looked at thousands and thousands of LinkedIn profiles, and I see the same kind of common mistakes over and over and over again. And so I really want to help you make sure that we kind of do some quick fixes to your LinkedIn profile right here, right now, today, some simple ways to fix it, because that's going to make all the difference in the world. It's kind of, the way I equate it is with your LinkedIn profile. If you think about it, when people Google your name, Google your business name, your profile shows up. So what are they finding? Are you going to be excited for them to look at it or embarrassed? And I want to share right now some of my biggest tips on how to immediately fix what I would argue is the most important part of your profile. So let's dive into that now. In case, if you're not familiar with me, if you're not familiar with my story, I didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be a LinkedIn lead generation guy, and I'm going to get featured in Inc. magazine and the New York Times and on LinkedIn's blog talking all about LinkedIn lead generation, right? That's where I am today. That's where I've ended up. In fact, even the robots love me. Even AI, if you put in, or at least recently somebody shared this as a screenshot, who are the best lead generation experts to talk to about LinkedIn lead gen? ChatGPT actually put me number one on their list. So there you go. I got that going for me. The AI loves me. And where that's led to now today is having a full-scale, done-for-you LinkedIn lead generation agency. Yes, I have incredible fashion sense. That's just a side benefit of working with us is my Zubaz pants. But I've rewritten LinkedIn profiles for a lot of big-name people. Bob Berg and John Lee Dumas and lots of other people have a whole full-service agency. We have a lot of fun. And the core thing that you want to know is we've helped countless, small business owners and consultants and others, get incredible results from LinkedIn, making 5- and 6-figure sales. So there's a lot behind the tips that I'm going to teach you today, what I've learned, how it all works. And I really want to start with my own story, where this all came from, because it's going to show you how to use LinkedIn. And the whole thing started, it's a crazy story, back in 2012. And at that point, like a lot of people, I was working a safe 6-figure day job. I didn't have to do anything different. I could kind of, put my career on cruise control. But I really had this hunger. Every single day when I would come home from work, and I actually have a picture of it because it so resonates. My 3 boys would run to the front door. They were really young at the time, all under the age of 10, and they would yell, "Daddy's home!" And here they are mobbing me at the door. And it was killing me being at this corporate job, commuting across town, all that. And then I felt like it was missing my kid's childhood. And so I really decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot at this. I want to build work around my life instead of the other way around. So what I did was I quit a safe 6-figure day job. I had enough money for 30 days. I had a whole 1 client. And again, this is back in 2012. So I quit my job. I have enough money for 30 days and 1 client. We also had no savings. In fact, we probably had about 20 or 30 grand in credit card debt. But I said, forget it. I'm going to try it, right? That's just my personality, not the recommended blueprint if you want to go into business on your own. But it's what I did, right? And so I also told myself, at that point in my career, I can always go get another day job. I want to take my shot. And so I opened Nemo Media Group. I had a very exciting first office, very high end. Hopefully you can see an image of it right now, but it was my laptop on top of an empty Super Pretzel box. That was the office, the first office for Nemo Media Group. It was just me in a corner bedroom. And what I realized when I did this back in 2012 was there was an opportunity with LinkedIn that I didn't see other people utilizing. And I really wanted to take advantage of this, and that's what I did. And using the approaches I'm going to show you in this video and in this presentation, I was able in those first 90 days back in 2012 by myself, sitting in a corner bedroom, with the soft pretzel box in my laptop, I was able to generate $135,000 in new business, new clients from just random people on LinkedIn. So I was able to replace my day job and I was able to start building a business, and I never looked back. And so I really want to walk through how this works and what the first key step was. And what I realized back then, and what is still true today, is your LinkedIn profile is where everything starts. If you don't have a really well done LinkedIn profile, you're kind of dead in the water. It's like, inviting people to a party at your house and your house is under construction or dilapidated or it's missing the door, right? And people are scared to go inside because something might fall on their head. So, like, you've got to have a really good LinkedIn profile. And the big eye opener for me, the big change that I made was turning my LinkedIn profile away from being a resume, which is still what you see so many LinkedIn profiles today. They are like an online resume. You talk in the third person, you lead with your job title, you lead with descriptions of everything you do all day, every day. And of course, the only problem with that is no one cares. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. They only care about themselves, morning, noon, and after supper. That is a quote directly from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I literally built my entire business off that quote, that nobody cares about you, nobody cares about me, they only care about themselves. And so with every aspect of my business, I've always tried to figure out, how do I implement that? How do I apply that? When it came to my LinkedIn profile, I quickly realized, man, my LinkedIn profile reads like a resume. It's just all about me and the different jobs I've worked. And again, the only problem is if I want to use LinkedIn for business and to get clients, I got to make it all about them and what I can do for them and the key problems I can solve. So I really started here. I started with understanding the one client I had at the time was a debt collector. And so I'm pulling up the part of my profile. I had worked for a couple of years for a debt collection trade association, doing public relations and social media and video and all kinds of stuff. And in those couple of years, I really learned a ton about the industry. And I talked to debt collectors all day, every day. And I realized, oh, okay, I now have an education in this industry. There's no learning curve. I know how it works. I know what the pain points are of a debt collection agency owner in terms of sales and lead generation and marketing and websites, because I would talk to them all day, every day. And so again, when I started my own business, I only had the one client who owned a debt collection agency. He had met me through this trade association and was like, when you go on your own, I'm going to be your first client. And sure enough, he was. So what I did with my LinkedIn profile, and this is the first really key thing you want to do, is really repurposing each part of it to appeal to a target audience. One simple place to do that, let me show you, is with your LinkedIn headline. So what you do is, most people, again, their LinkedIn headline is going to say something like, CEO, Nemo Media Group, or whatever. Or some people will try to be really clever with their LinkedIn headline and say lead generation ninja, or they'll try to write like a couple of long sentences, filled with hyperbole and, industry jargon and things like that. And what I have really found, doing this over the last 12 years, is that you want to have a LinkedIn headline that basically does two simple things. Part one is you talk about the service you provide in your LinkedIn headline. And the second part is you say who it's for. So service I provide, and then the target audience I serve. So if you look at my LinkedIn headline right now, it's super simple. I provide this service, done for you LinkedIn lead generation. That is the service I provide. Who do I provide it for? Small business owners and consultants. So that was the first key step, was a simple thing of changing my LinkedIn profile headline. And that's something you can do right now while we're talking. Again, just use that simple formula, the service I provide plus the target audiences that I serve. And that's something that I see so many people miss. And so, in fact, I'm going to put you to the test. We're going to test you right now. I want you to take that formula right now, and in the comments, try to do this in real time. So in the comments, I want you to give me what you think your LinkedIn headline should be. And again, the two pieces are the service you provide plus the target audience. Nothing else, not like hyperbole and accolades and, just the service you provide plus the target audience. And let's see what you come up with. So, and again, I'm going to give you feedback if you want, help you craft that. So I think, this is something that I've seen time and time again. When you can get clarity here, it really helps you on LinkedIn, because as you know, and as I know, with 1 billion people on LinkedIn and the amount of noise and scrolling and all the different things going on, to be able to understand how to catch someone's attention, you've got to be simple. Simple really sells. And so if someone can see, your name and your face on LinkedIn, right below it is that profile headline. Why I like this formula, service you provide plus a target audience, is it makes it instantly click in their head. Oh, I get it. They're an accountant for, stenographers, right? They're an accountant for small businesses in Michigan. Or they're a business coach for, healthcare startups, right? So those are examples of a service you provide plus a niche audience. So let's see what we got. Okay, we got people coming in. All right, who am I going to pick on first? All right, Joseph. Okay, so energizing productivity for manufacturers, small business. Yeah, so those is interesting, and I see this a lot. So you're in good shape, Joseph, or Joseph. I don't know how we pronounce it. I'm just going to call you Joe. Okay, so Joe, this happens all the time. This is really more a sentence for your about section. This would more be for your headline right under your name. So what we would want it to say more than likely is basically something along the lines of productivity consultant for manufacturers and small businesses. If your core thing is you help people increase productivity, you are a productivity consultant or a productivity coach. That's your service. And who it's for is manufacturers and small businesses. So imagine trying to read everything on the screen right now next to Joseph's name, as opposed to productivity consultant for manufacturers. If I'm a manufacturer and I see Joseph, an invite or a post, I'm like, oh, cool. He helps people just like me with productivity. So, all right, Joseph, good sport. Thanks for letting me pick on you. All right, Irina is a business English teacher for Spanish speakers. Not bad, not bad. I know instantly what you do. You help me, if I'm a Spanish speaker, learn business-related English, I'm assuming, right? Solid, very solid. Steve is jumping in. Business strategy designer. I don't know what that means. Would it be designer? Makes me think of like, and again, this is where I'm willing to admit I'm stupid. I have no problem admitting when I'm dumb and confused and don't understand, but a prospect won't. And so I would rather, in this case, oversimplify your headline, Steve. And what I mean by that is I might get confused by designer and think, is that like graphic design, or like, is he mapping out stuff? Or do you mean more like you're a consultant? Because I think in terms of like, if you said business strategy consultant or business strategy coach, I'd be like, oh, I know what that is. And then startups and freelancers, perfect. Target audience is good. Who's my next victim? All right, Lenora, branding photographer for professionals and business owners. Solid, right? Branding photography, I get it. Maybe niche it more. You know, is there a certain type of business or a certain type of professional? Could it be C-suite executives? Could it be small businesses in Michigan? Like whatever it might be. All right, so what have we got here? So this is interesting. Okay, Darren Bain. Okay, so family protection for busy parents. So what type of protection? Do you like stand outside the door with a gun? Sorry, I'm just having fun with it. But like, again, is it like cybersecurity protection? Is it internet protection? Is it home security systems? Is it childcare? Like, so again, it's like really challenging, you know, Darren and everybody else, like get super specific on what the actual thing is and what people would call it. Because family protection right now to me, and this is just me riffing, take what you like, leave the rest, is just, to me, is too generic. Like I don't really know what type of protection, what does this mean exactly? So, all right. Joe is perfect. Okay, to call you that, perfect. Ari is in. All right. IT and web success for small professional services firms. So again, I would say as far as the service you provide, web success isn't really a service, right? It's more a benefit or something people want. IT also is a service, right? I'm assuming what you do is you do IT services and maybe website design or website hosting. So if I'm more online with that, Ari, I would say IT and, you know, IT plus or IT and website design or IT and website hosting for blank, right? Small professional services. Like I would also challenge the audience to try to get more specific there. But these are great. I appreciate you guys sharing these. Yep. Okay. I think we already looked at Lenora. Okay. So this example, Arbin, where this is more more for the about section. Again, this is your headline. So service you provide plus a target audience. So what's the service? See, and now I have to read through it. Most people aren't going to take the time to like pull out the clues of what it is you do. They just want a simple, like, what is it? Connecting you with IT projects that match your skills and ambitions. So it sounds like you're a recruiter. You recruit people and you match a professional with an IT project. So I would change your LinkedIn headline to recruiter for IT professionals. Like that's what you do, right? If that's correct, I know within 2 seconds, if I'm an IT professional on LinkedIn looking for a new project and I see a message from Arvin that says recruiter for IT professionals, I'm going to connect and go, he can probably help find me a new project. So just a quick example. All right, let's keep going. Amanda, FCCA. Now, see, this is good because I don't know what FCCA means. So again, and I'm always willing to be dumb. Does your target audience know what FCCA is? One of the challenges we all run into is we kind of do our own inside baseball and jargon and acronyms and assume everyone knows it. Okay. Property accountant and consultant for house. Okay. So if they know what FCCA is and if it's super important, then I would leave that in. I would say accounting, and I don't know if you do bookkeeping and tax prep too, but I would do something like accounting, bookkeeping, and tax prep for house builders, trades, developers. And then I would put at the end the credential FCCA certified or whatever that is. All right. So I'm just ripping through these. We got a lot. So I don't know if I'll get to all of them. Export strategies for growing CPG companies. I don't know what CPG is. Consumer product goods? Is that what it is? Sorry. I have a business, right? But here's the thing. Like, never assume people know what you mean when you abbreviate things. It's just, especially scanning. If we're scanning LinkedIn, I need to know just super simple language. And I know people get intimidated by that or, it's going to make me look dumb. No, I want people to really understand in just simple child language. Like my kids, the goal would be for my kids to be like, oh, I get what they do. Like my dad helps people use LinkedIn to make sales. Like that's a child can explain that, right? So export. So would you be like a consultant? So would it be export strategy consultant for, and I don't know what a CPG company is. Okay. Professional media planner and buyer for small and medium-sized businesses. Yep, I would just stop there, Dennis. I wouldn't put in the rest because that's more like for the about section or kind of benefit-driven. Media planner plus buyer for small and medium-sized businesses in Canada or whatever. Yep. Okay, so these are good. These are good. I appreciate you guys taking my feedback. Lots of good stuff. Okay. Ari's getting in there. Managed IT, much better. And web services. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Consumer packaged goods. Okay. So if people in the industry know, perfect. That's the other thing. There's always a caveat attached to this for Michael and for everybody else. If your audience lives and breathes those acronyms every day, that's fine. The key is who you're marketing to. If they know what it is, then cool. Okay. So Seth's coming in, franchise consultant, which is key. That's what you do. Empowering, aspiring, like that's kind of more hyperbole and aspiring language, which I don't like in a LinkedIn headline, just my 2 cents. Franchise consultant for what type of professionals? So it could be franchise consultant for, corporate executive, franchise consultant for what type of professionals. So, okay. And again, we can dig into that more. But again, I want to make sure that we get to the next part of the training. So great job for those of you that were brave enough to come in and face my wrath. But again, you can see the challenges. There's a great analogy for Mark Twain where he was talking about writing a letter, right? And he said he was writing a letter to a friend and he said, I wanted to write you a shorter letter, but I didn't have enough time. And I just love that analogy because it's hard. It's hard to boil everything you do down into that simple little phrase, service I provide plus a target audience. It does take time and thought, but it's really important to make it as short and as simple as possible. So with that said, I want to dive into the next part of the training, and I really want to go deeper on your LinkedIn profile, and we'll frame this around one client of ours, Catherine Bishop, an accountant, a bookkeeper, CPA, who has had amazing success with LinkedIn. You hear a little bit about that, but I really want to walk you through the process we took with her profile, kind of top to bottom, because again, we've got to start with your profile and make sure we have that dialed in. So let's check this out. Illustrate this really quick with a client of ours, Catherine Bishop. And I love Catherine's story. Literally within 90 days of starting working with me on Done For You LinkedIn Lead Gen, she told me to turn off the campaigns. She's like, stop. I've got too many leads. I got too many clients. This is working too good. Turn it off, which of course is the greatest problem ever. The great part about Catherine's story is her husband actually ended up quitting his day job to come work for her. Right. And 2 years after we stopped working with her, she's still getting new clients. Obviously, the headline is key. And when you look at Catherine's, again, the riches are really in the niches with LinkedIn. So for her, instead of saying Catherine Bishop, CEO, BlackBerry Accounting, or, the business name or whatever it was, or Catherine Bishop, just accountant, I niched it to a certain industry, construction, accounting, and bookkeeping. That's the service and the audience. Construction, payroll, and taxes. That's a service and an audience, right? Tax prep and planning. And notice the visuals. I put in little kind of construction related emojis to really help it, pop visually so she could see, or when a client looked at it, they could see, oh, okay, this is what she does. This is familiar to me. Even her LinkedIn background header that I made for her years ago was a construction job site with the words, right, of the service: construction, accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and more. So again, think about this, how the riches are really in the niches with a profile. She's all about this targeted niche audience of construction companies, contractors, etc. And the reason it works so well is because of her story. And that's what I want to get into here with the next part of the profile, is really explaining what makes you unique, different, and better, and why a certain audience is going to resonate with you. And now I know one key thing people always bring up is, well, wait, I'm hearing you say the riches are in the niches with LinkedIn, but I don't want to niche myself too much. I can be everything to everybody. Everyone needs an accountant, right? And this is a good example with Catherine. She does accounting for everyone. Like, she can do it for any type of business. Accounting practices and principles are the same, right? In general, tax strategies, saving strategies are the same, even across a niche of small business owners, right? So why would I niche her so much to construction, accounting, and bookkeeping? Isn't she leaving money on the table, right? Isn't this a bad thing if we niche her too much? Well, if you ask her, no, right? Like, she has so much business in this one niche. Her husband quit his job to come work for her. She's still getting clients 2 years after not, stopping with us because she had too much business already. The riches are in the niches. And if you just use LinkedIn to really appeal to one or two, maybe three target audiences to really stand out, you can be a big fish in a small pond. So let me explain to you how this actually works and how you can apply it to your profile right now. So as I mentioned, I niched Catherine to the construction audience because of her story. So, I put a lot of it in her actual profile, but again, where she talks about her story, let me get to it. Her dad was a contractor, right? So her dad was a contractor growing up. Her mom was a CPA, match made in heaven. But literally, she had to be on the job sites every weekend for her dad at 8 a.m. So every Saturday, 8 a.m. growing up, that was her place. She had to be on the job site, picking up nails, carrying boards, whatever, helping her dad with his construction business. She literally grew up in the industry. She grew up working in her family's construction business. So if you own a construction business, if you are a contractor, if you are a home builder, how cool is it to know that your accountant literally grew up in the industry and worked for her dad? And oh, by the way, her mom was a CPA that did the books for her dad's business. Now, you want to convey all that in a way that really appeals to your target audience. So let's walk through what that looks like. So the first sentence of your About section on your LinkedIn profile, this is what I love to use. And write this down, take a screenshot, whatever you want to do. Use all capitals to say what I do. And the reason I like all capitals is when we read on LinkedIn, we go up and down very fast, right? So again, you want to have your text stop the scroll and stand out. You're going to do that with these capital phrases like what we do, where you've seen us, and emojis. You can see the emojis here that really pop and show, some different things to illustrate people talking, whatever. But you'll see as you scroll up and down, a lot of white space and some of these all capital letters. So the first line, you want to say what I do, or if you're representing a company, what we do. And then I want you to use this kind of fill in the blank template. What I do, I help your target audience, right, achieve their goal, something they want, by providing my product or service. So it's very simple. For me, I help small business owners and consultants generate leads on LinkedIn, and get quality clients by providing done-for-you LinkedIn lead gen, right? Very simple thing. The next part, and again, you can use this template, you can rearrange these sections depending on what stands out most about you. So for example, if you have a bunch of big name clients, a bunch of accolades, a bunch of media credits, then use that. So for example, on mine, right, I've been featured in a bunch of big name publications that will resonate with my target audience. So I'm putting that up high where you've seen us or where you've seen me, Business Insider, New York Times, etc. Or if you've got great client testimonials, you're going to say what clients say, and you're going to put those up high. Now, it depends on your business and what makes you unique, different, and better. So again, with Catherine, she didn't necessarily have a bunch of big name clients or media accolades, so we skipped that. But what she did have was something that made her really unique. So again, this is a fill in the blank. What makes me unique? You explain that. She said, I've got big firm experience working at Deloitte and Duke Energy, which, obviously huge companies, especially in the South. She lives in North Carolina, so everyone knows. Obviously, Deloitte is, international, but Duke Energy is big there, where I implemented projects that saved the company $300 million. Okay. Oh, wow. So at a very big level, she worked on projects that saved, big companies hundreds of millions of dollars. I've even taught accounting at the college level, and I have a CPA and a master's. So right there, you're saying that makes her different than a lot of everyday accountants as she's worked for these big companies. So again, what makes you unique, different, and better? And then we talked about the story, industry experience. And again, notice the unique kind of construction themed emojis to help visually have it pop. And then again, you tell the story, grew up on the contractor sites. As a result, why does this matter? I really have expertise around the unique, industry challenges. It was the same thing for me with the debt collectors. When I first started marketing myself on LinkedIn, I was saying, listen, debt collection agency marketing services, what makes me unique? Having spent 2 years working for the largest trade association in the debt collection industry, I have unparalleled insight into and understanding of the unique challenges debt collection agencies face. And that instantly built trust and rapport because, again, a prospect wants to feel like you've walked in their shoes. So some of the other, elements that you can put into your profile, let's keep going, where you've seen my work. So if you have big name clients, you can list them out and use unique emojis. You can also talk about what makes you unique, which we talked about there. Again, I'm using examples here. Services I provide. So I like listing out the services you provide, again, as a bullet list. And these are services that your clients are interested in. So again, maybe if you're in accounting and CPA, you can say these things: accounts payable and receivable, cash flow analysis, financial reviews, whatever. For Catherine, we did it very construction themed, right? So construction accounting, bookkeeping, construction cost control, and job costing. You know what your clients are looking for in terms of services, so you can put it in there. Again, problems I solve, you can even try that. Time management challenges or dysfunctional dynamics. Like, you can list out these bullet lists of items of what you do, the problems you solve. Maybe you want to say benefits my clients realize. So that can be where you talk about these are the benefits they realize. If you're a coach or a consultant, that works with teams and companies, right? Increase this, increase that. Words like increased or improved are great, right? And then an actual tangible benefit, right? Increased productivity, increased profitability. Use that. So who I work with, this is another one. You can then list out the types of audiences. And these are just examples from client profiles that I've rewritten, but you can see how clear cut this is. If I'm scanning up and down, this isn't a resume. This isn't you talking in a third person. It's, oh, okay, this is what they do. This is who they work with. I can self-identify. If I'm a property manager and I see that you work with property managers, I immediately trust you more and you have more credibility because, oh, good, you work with people just like me, right? Or industries I work in, right? You can say, these are the industries I serve and what I do. For client testimonials, put a few of those in, have it say what others say, and just paste that in and use a little talking emoji. It's super important. I see this a lot with testimonials. Use the full name and the company name so that people can actually verify it's a real human. Don't just put like Catherine, accountant, because you can be making that up. So use a real name and then just a simple little call to action, ready to talk, here's where to connect, all that good stuff. So again, this all goes in your about section, and then your experience section. You can see what a difference that makes scanning up and down, being able to see. You can also put in a section, my story, kind of a quick little story, ready to talk. One thing I would really recommend is in your experience section, being able to list multiple audiences. So this is something where, again, you've got your company here, and then you're going to have positions. So for me, because I use, different multiple audiences, I've got one experience or position listing for small business owners. I've got another one for consultants and business coaches. It's the same service, but I'm just niching it more to those audiences. So in this one, it's all about small business owners. In this one, it's all about coaches and consultants with specific examples, testimonials, and services for those audiences. This one's for franchise consultants. This one, might be for whatever else. So again, under your experience section, this is how you can hit multiple audiences. You can have, one listing for small business, one listing for consultants. Again, it's the same service in each one, but it's different audiences, different examples, different testimonials. And you, again, find that under experience. Just keep adding positions and you can keep creating that. And that's really what goes into having this client-facing profile, where now when people look at it, they immediately know from looking at your headline and your about section, what's in it for me? What does this person do? Do they work with people like me? What services do they provide? Would I even want to connect with them? All that, goes through a prospect's mind, and you want to answer that question for them up front. So there you go. That's a quick look at profiles. I got more to share with you here in a second. This guy's killing it. I love this presenter. Hey, I have free resources for you because I know we're covering ground really fast. So let me put up, okay. So I'm going to, Becca Arco, our amazing Director of Client Service and Client Strategy and Director of Business Development, put some links into the comments where you can get these free resources. And I'll just show you on my screen as well. So let me do that really quick, just because I want to make sure that obviously if you're frantically trying to keep up with today's presentation, that can be hard. So let me just do entire screen share. And then if you go over to the Nemo Media Group website, so just nemomediagroup.com, and then you click on free at the top right corner there, you can see different books here. So the one I'm talking about here that we were just showing in this video is called The Ultimate LinkedIn Profile Template. Just click on the image, and it's going to open up a new page where you basically just put in your email, and then I can email you the guide, right? And this is a PDF. Fill in the blank. It's all of what we're covering here on the video. So that way you don't have to race ahead. And if you want to grab, a free copy of the book, LinkedIn Riches, or the one for business coaches and consultants, franchise consultants, just click on any of them. They will open up a new page, and then you can download the resources. So again, my big thing is I want to give you as much value as I can on this call today. And I know that can be hard to do if you're trying to frantically take notes and remember everything. So again, wanted to just show you there on the Nemo Media Group website where all the good free stuff is. All right, so going to stop the sharing there for a second. Again, let me know in the comments too if you're finding this helpful, if you have more questions, all that stuff. Oh, somebody says you simply reek of humility. Yes, I'm known as humble. I love it. All right. Somebody's taking a cheap shot, and I love it. I'm here for it. All right. Okay. Now, I've got even more. So if you're finding this helpful, I want to take an even deeper dive onto LinkedIn profiles. I want to start talking about not only, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile like we've been talking about, but also how to engage prospects. That's the key piece, right? We want to step into next as well is how do I actually get people to talk to me on LinkedIn? How do I stop, feeling like I'm just going to spam people or annoy people? How do I stand out in their inbox? Everyone's messaging them with offers and all these shenanigans and all this stuff. So I want to really cover that next. Well, thank you. Thank you for the templates. Eager to imagine them. Well, I think imagine, you probably mean something else, but hey, imagine away. Imagine them, dream about them. I love it. All right. Amanda says you rock. Well, I like to think so. Tell my wife. Okay. So anyway, I got to do the dishes after this. Okay. So here's what I want to cover next is getting a little bit more into the profile and then the real secret sauce of all this LinkedIn messaging. So without further ado, let's dive into that section. I'm going to show you just a real quick trick with our friend ChatGPT for your profile page. So, if you're like, I don't know how to pick out the right emojis and how do I get the right ones and how do I do it tastefully and how do I make sure all this looks good, go into ChatGPT and put in a bullet list. So in this case, basically, let's say these are different types of companies I work with, whatever my service is. And you just have a simple prompt for the bullet list below, insert a unique emoji related to each item it describes. And then you just hit submit and it will spit the list back out and it'll instantly have kind of tasteful emojis, right? So builders, construction, hospitals, business coaches. Now, maybe you don't like that one, so you can tell it to change it, financial planners or banks. So again, you can say, let's go down here and say, I don't like the one for business coaches. Show one with a person. And then it'll try again, right? And then it'll put one in front of, a coach, someone teaching. And then if you're still not sure, what you can do is you can say, give me a list of business-related emojis. And it'll just spit out a ton of them, and then you can copy and paste them. So this is another tip for you where it'll literally say, okay, here's any and all emojis related to business. So then, like, if you're doing something about increased profitability, you can grab that. Or if you want to say consulting, you can get a briefcase, right? So again, you can get ideas from AI to quickly kind of help you organize some of these lists. So we've talked a lot about your LinkedIn profile, and I can go much deeper on that. In fact, here, let me show you a new window. If you want, I have multiple free books on this. So again, just go to nemomediagroup.com and you can actually get the ultimate LinkedIn profile template. That's everything I was showing today. You can actually get a copy of any of my books, right? I've got one for business coaches, franchise consultants. LinkedIn Riches is for small business owners and everyone else. Just click on one of the images and then you can download the free template if you want to go deeper. I don't want to do it all on this call, obviously. If you want fashion advice, I'm here to help. Zuba's pants for life, right? Minnesota Vikings are going all the way. This is our year. Don't stop me. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So let me come back. Again, if you want more tips, just go to nemomediagroup.com and you can grab more free resources. They're just here on the homepage. So when we talk about LinkedIn, obviously starting with your profile, and we've touched on that. Once that's ready, really all the money on LinkedIn is in the mailbox. This is one of the great things that you're going to feel good about after being on this webinar, is that you don't have to do everything else. LinkedIn has all these different features and all these different things. And I know there's a million and one gurus that are going to tell you, okay, you need to publish 700 pieces of content a day, and you need to go in and comment on everyone's posts, and you need to spend 4 hours a day, liking things and blah, 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 blah. And I'm here to tell you, having done this since 2012, let me just check. I have done this since 2012. I've seen every feature possible on LinkedIn that they've added. You need to, go in and you need to write this many articles and you need to do short form videos and you need to do, this and that and this and that. And it's like, I'm just going to tell you, all you need to do is one-on-one messaging. If you want clients, if you want business on LinkedIn, all you need to do is one-on-one messaging. All the money is in the mailbox. So with that said, obviously you need to know who to send your one-on-one messages to. And again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on how to find your leads on LinkedIn. That could be a whole training in itself. I recommend that you get Sales Navigator, which is an add-on premium product. And then you can go in and you can build lists of all your ideal leads. So you can literally go in and you can tell LinkedIn, I want people, who have this type of job or this job title or this seniority level. They've been in this role for this many years. Even they've recently changed jobs. They've recently posted anything and everything. They went to this school, there's so many different filters. So it's not hard. It's not a problem to find prospects on LinkedIn. There's over 1 billion people on here. Now you can use the basic search and you get some good filters if you want to start there. I really recommend Sales Navigator. I don't get any stock or any kickbacks. If you're serious about it, and this is what we use for our clients, I would definitely use that. And then again, once you have lists of prospects, you're just going to reach out one-on-one with messages. And I want to spend a lot of time now talking about what goes into a good one-on-one LinkedIn message. This is it. This is the whole package in one simple sentence. The simple secret to generating leads on LinkedIn is you craft a client attracting profile, which we've covered, and then you use personalized one-on-one outreach that puts the real life you into the engagement. So I'm going to show you that next. The final part is also offering some free content that will demonstrate your expertise and helps people get to know, like, and trust you. I'll cover that in a minute. Right now, I want to talk about the one-on-one outreach because we've covered all the different ways you can do it. And I want to explain now, what do you actually put into a one-on-one message, an email, etc. So I use this example. Let's say one of the clients we work a lot of times with is franchise consultants. So that's a niche audience here on LinkedIn. They use us for done-for-you LinkedIn lead generation. So what am I going to say to a franchise consultant on LinkedIn to get them to talk to me? Because we know everyone's getting inundated with messages and offers and spam and all that stuff. So first, I'll obviously build a list of franchise consultants, and then I will send literally one sentence, one line. I'll say, hey, name of consultant, can I send you a free digital copy of my book, LinkedIn Lead Gen for Franchise Consultants? And what that is I literally have an ebook I made just for franchise consultants on how they can use LinkedIn. And the whole point of this is I want to demonstrate expertise and show franchise consultants, hey, if you want to use LinkedIn to get leads, I literally wrote a book on it. Like, you can have it for free. So what I do is I literally just offer that as one sentence. Now, I don't do a bunch of personalizing in the first message. The simple reason is, and I know, a lot of people will say to you, well, listen, John, the best thing you can do on LinkedIn is go look at the person's profile and put a bunch of personal commentary in there. Talk about, oh, I see you live in Minneapolis, and I see, you work here and you went to this school, and all of that is great, by the way. Talk about where I went to college and, high school and, different things I volunteered at. Those are all great, but you don't want to do that first. The reason being, if you reach out to a prospect on LinkedIn and you do all that extra work to hyper personalize your messaging and say, hey, I was looking at your profile. I see you live in Minneapolis. I see you went to this university. Do you still follow the sports team? Hey, it's really cool that you volunteer there. I do that too. I see you live here. How's the weather? All of that's great, and all of that will get people to respond to you. But what if they're not a prospect? What if they don't need your service? What if they're not looking right now? What if they don't want to buy? As my brother-in-law, who's a great salesman, taught me years ago, he's like, I don't need more friends. I need more clients, right? So you can make friends and do all that, but it's going to take so much time. So what I do, my first message is a qualifier. It is kind of generic, right? But it basically is qualifying them. Can I send you a free digital copy of this free piece of content? Or I'll say, hey, insert their name. Can I send you my best free tips on blank, which is something they would want. So my best free tips on how this target audience can get a benefit they want. So really the one sentence message that you start with is, hey, can I send you my best free tips on blank? Or can I send you this free content I've created that helps you get this outcome? You're wanting to use these messages to qualify. Think about this. If someone says yes, they're interested in the content, now I know they're a lead. Because if they're saying, yeah, I want to know more about how to use LinkedIn to get leads as a franchise consultant, guess what I do? I help franchise consultants get leads. Or if they say, yes, I am interested in tips on how to do ABC, since you provide that service behind those tips, now you know they're interested. That's when I go deeper. So then I'll follow up and say, hey, great. Here's a link to the free content. And then I'll say also, unless LinkedIn is misleading me, because again, sometimes people have things listed wrong on their profiles. I always just cover my bases and say, unless LinkedIn is misleading me, it looks like you live in Chicago, and then I'm a sports guy. So I joke, my apologies in advance if you're a Chicago Bears football fan, right? And now I love sports, so I'm going to gravitate toward that, but there's plenty of other things you can do. You can see, hey, here's the free content. Also, I see you live in Chicago. I'm planning a trip there with my family. Just be a real person. What would you say in real life if you met someone from Chicago? What would you ask them? What would you comment about? Would it be the weather, the sports teams, the museums, the universities? You'd have something to say to them. How do you like living in the Midwest? Now, you do that when you know they're interested. So part one of the messaging is, are you even interested in this topic? Do you even want tips on it? Is it even something on your radar? Because you'll have people write back and they're like, actually, I'm retired. I don't use LinkedIn anymore. Well, that's great. That's fine. I can take you off of my list. I don't need to follow up. And again, I didn't spend all the time personalizing the outreach. Now, if this person writes back and says, yes, send over the tips, then I'm going to go look at their profile and I'm going to be able to instantly add some icebreakers. The other thing that we do for clients that I would definitely recommend you do is track all your messaging. So the fortune is really in the follow-up. We create Google Sheets where we track every conversation. So these are all people that I'm talking to on LinkedIn, first name, last name, what their job title is, what campaign they responded to. So I know, I did a campaign offering a case study about this. They responded yes, or they responded yes, they're interested in the book. And then we timestamp everything in terms of, did we offer to book a call? Did we follow up? The fortune's in the follow-up. So for example, if I offer someone a free book and then they say, yes, send it over, I'm going to make sure that I follow up here to see what they thought of the book. And not just once, but I'm going to space out the follow-ups every couple days, whatever. And if they say to me, yeah, I'm going to get to the book on Monday, I'll make a note in here and I'll follow up Monday and I'll say, hey, did you have a chance to check out my book over the weekend, or did Netflix get in the way? Haha, like you do a personal follow-up. Because once someone responds, now you can start having a conversation. Yeah, I loved your book. And then you say, well, what resonated? What did you find helpful? I really like the part about changing the profile. I really need to do that. I'm so embarrassed by my profile. It does read like a resume. Ugh. And then I can say, oh, that's so great. I totally can relate. I'm so glad you found that helpful. Well, do you want more advice on how to do that? Did you know we actually rewrite profiles for you? How can we help? Do you want a course on it? And then that's where you can kind of move people into a sales conversation. So again, we track every single engagement, comments, right? What did they say? I'll give you an example of one for a client, just so you can see, these are all people that we're talking to. These are the campaigns, color coded, right? Which event, which message, did we follow up? Did they book a call? Having a second call, talking to them, do they know them, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously we're pulling emails and phone numbers too, because you can do a warm phone call or a warm email, because you can say, hey, I know we've been bantering on LinkedIn. I thought it might just be easier to call you or email you directly, with the whatever you were looking for. So again, the messaging is very simple. Step one is you really just want to qualify them and you want to offer some sort of free content. And then step two is if they say yes, they're interested in the topic or the tips, you deliver the content and you start personalizing the message. In this next section, I want to talk a little bit about how to actually create the type of content that we're talking about here in terms of what people really want, what works well on LinkedIn to get people saying, yes, I want to read that or see that. All right, and before I do that, I know, Kyle, time is flying when we're having fun. We're getting close to the top of the hour, and I know sometimes people are like, I have a hard stop. I got to leave in 1 minute. So I want to do a couple of things. If you want help, if you want to go deeper, if you want to explore our online courses, our books, our done-for-you services, the fastest, easiest way to start that conversation is simply just to email me. So just John, I'm putting it on the screen right now, JOHN, john@nemomediagroup.com. Just send an email, just in the subject line, just say help or work or whatever, and just tell me a little bit like, hey, I'm looking for help on this or that. Do you have a resource for this? Or if you have more questions, like, hey, I want to know more about how to do this or that, just email me, john@nemomediagroup.com. Becca can also repost our Work With Us page, and that kind of gives you a deeper dive on how our agency works and what makes us unique, different, and better, and all the different ways we help clients, and there's testimonials and all that stuff too. So one of the things I want to make sure to, before we go into the next section, since we're going to hit the top of the hour, is if you have questions, live Q&A right now, type them in the comments. And again, this is great because people are submitting questions. So if you have questions, submit them in the comments right now. And before we do the section on content here, and I'll stay long, obviously, for those of you that can hang with me, I want to make sure I answer questions for everybody. So Steve's asking, with that one-on-one messaging, are you messaging first level connections or using InMail? The answer is both. So obviously the way LinkedIn works, if you're not familiar, is if Steve and I are connected, right? I invited Steve to connect. He accepted. I can now message Steve one-on-one for free, like texting, right? Instant messaging. If Steve and I are not connected, Then there's a few different ways I can get to Steve, right? One is in-mails. That's the most well-known one. And if you have a paid LinkedIn plan like Sales Navigator, you get a certain amount every month where it's basically LinkedIn will force feed a message to Steve and it'll have a subject line, and everything else. So I use both. It just depends. There are multiple other ways to message people if you're not connected outside of in-mails. I don't know if I can get into it in depth right now, but you can message people that you're both members of a LinkedIn group for free. Some people have what's called an open profile. So depending on how they're linked, and again, I can get into the weeds on this another time, and I have trainings on all this. But if someone has an open profile, you can send them a free in-mail, so you don't have to use up a credit. But yes, to your point, Steve, I use this both ways. And the whole genius of that simple one-sentence message is, again, you're qualifying them first by the topic, the content, the subject. Hey, can I send you my best free tips on blank? You're basically saying, are you even interested in this topic? Do you want to learn more about this topic? Is this something you're trying to get better at? If they say no or don't respond or say, I'm retired, I don't do that anymore, then you know not to waste time chasing them. If they say, yes, I'd like more tips on it, or I want the free ebook, now you know, oh, okay, they've checked another box on the qualifying ladder of they're interested in these tips. They want to know more. Now we would get into the content, which I'll share in a minute here. Okay, so Becca is sharing some great links. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. All right. So again, you're welcome, Steve. If others have questions, just put them in the comments and I'll answer those too. And again, if you want to know more about anything we've covered today, any of the free resources, the online courses, working with us, email me directly, john@nemomediagroup.com. I want to get into as well the next section where I really talk about content, because right now what we've set up is, okay, how to make your LinkedIn profile, more client facing, how to get it to appeal to your prospects, how to go and message your ideal LinkedIn prospects one-on-one, super simple, right? One sentence, simple message. Now the key thing is, well, what content do I give them? Do I do a webinar, a video series, a podcast, a blog post? Like, what do you recommend, John? Like, everyone always asks that. Well, what's the best content? And I want to share that right now. So in this section, I'm going to walk through over the last dozen years across all niches, all clients, all types of different businesses on LinkedIn, what I have seen time and again work best in terms of content. So let me dive into that here next. I want to talk about what type of content to offer people on LinkedIn. Remember, the money's in the mailbox. It's in these one-on-one messages, and you're going to offer some sort of free content, free tips, etc. What should it be? Should it be a video? Should it be a podcast? Should it be, a blog post? Should it be a newsletter? And here's the thing. I've done all of that. We've done it all for myself and for my clients over the last 12 years. Done for you podcasts, YouTube channels, videos, webinars, blogs, articles, you name it, right? I have found time and again across every vertical, every industry, the number one thing that gets the most yes replies on one-on-one LinkedIn messages, far and away right now, and it's been that way for multiple years, is ebooks. And when I say ebook, this is what I mean. It's basically a PDF that is really well written and designed that tells your story and demonstrates expertise. So again, this is an example of Jim, a franchise consultant we work with, what it really takes to succeed in franchise ownership. So this was free content that he offered to corporate executives who were curious about franchising. And it starts with Jim's story, right? Like many great entrepreneurial journeys, mine started with some late night pizza, right? And he talks about his corporate career, and you've got real authentic photos of him. That's the other thing. You want these ebooks to be you, not stock art, not stock images, but the real life you telling your story, but then also demonstrating expertise. So another example is Carrie Ann Golliver, another franchise consultant we've worked with, where she's going to tell you her story. Here's a guide to navigating, the investment opportunities with franchise consultants. And again, tell your story. So Carrie Ann's ebook starts with, I figured my brother-in-law just had too much wine during dinner. Instead, the phrase he blurted out changed my life. Whoa, what's going on, right? So tell a great story, explain, what happened, tell some tales from the trenches, and then really, help people understand who you are, what you do, why you're the expert at this, and then how and what they can learn from it. And so we've done this across so many different industries, executive presence, sales trainings, right? Female executives, for coaches, leadership ebook. This is one of my favorites. Just the cover is so cool that our designer did. Business and personal growth examples. And again, having great storytelling. Now, these are all ebooks I've written for clients, but you get the idea, right? My career started with a lie. I was 17 years old, boom, whoa, like you got to hook people with a good story. And then again, use real authentic photos, and then demonstrate expertise, leadership principles, leadership lessons, etc. Now, you can also do case studies. You can, do how-to books, like how to make your law firm profitable and fulfilling, right? This is a coach for, attorneys and law firm owners, all about placing you as an expert. So here's another example where we've got a client that does, luxury homes in Arizona. So guess what? We're going to showcase that, but we're also going to niche it to a target audience. So in this case, we're saying it's for out-of-state realtors, the out-of-state realtors guide to high-end home design. Because you think about people, in the Midwest or East Coast or, wherever they want to build a luxury home in Arizona, they're going to go to their local real estate agent and say, do you know anyone? How do I build a home in Arizona? The idea now with LinkedIn and this client is they're going to use LinkedIn. They're going to reach out to high-end realtors around the country and offer this free ebook. Hey, do you have any, clients that are interested in building a home in Arizona, a vacation home, a second home, whatever? If so, we're happy to share this ebook we put together that gives you all these tips. And again, this ebook goes into depth and shares their process and shares their tips. And then it also shares the story of this company and how they have become, this leader in building homes. So again, that's why I love ebooks is, again, it can be on any topic. Real estate, it can be super niched to your audience. Again, we've done them for everything you can think of, right? Investing, attorneys, retirement planning, 1031 exchanges. Listen, if I can write ebooks about 1031 exchanges, anything is possible. A great ebook is going to do two things. It's going to tell your story so that people get to know, like, and trust you. And it's going to demonstrate expertise so they actually can walk away from it going, oh, okay, well, if I did want to explore franchise ownership, I actually got some tips in here of what to look for and how to do it and everything else. And again, that's the same thing I'm doing with my ebooks when I say to people, hey, do you want a free copy of my book, LinkedIn Riches? It's all about how, small business owners can use LinkedIn, and I'll send you a free digital copy. And what you're going to see is, again, these are the types of replies I get on LinkedIn. They read your book. You did a great job with the book. I want to talk to you. Please send me your calendar and set up a Zoom. Here's why this works. Think about this. If you contact someone on LinkedIn, and again, your first message isn't, I want to meet with you. It isn't a sales pitch. It's, can I offer you some free tips? Can I offer you some free content aimed at solving a problem you have? And they say yes. And if your content delivers on that promise, if it actually does a good job educating them, showing them how to do something, helping them understand how to solve a problem, and it tells your story, and they get to know, like, and trust you because they relate to your story, your journey, your tales from the trenches. Now, by the time they actually get on the phone with you or do a Zoom with you, they've gone through, a 3, 5, 10,000 word ebook all about you. They've already kind of warmed themselves up. They already come in feeling like they know, like, and trust you. And that's why it's so important to qualify prospects with content. Because again, it makes your job much easier than, well, okay, we connected on LinkedIn and I booked a call, and who are you and what do you do and what makes you unique and different and why would I listen to you and do you even know what you're doing? Have you worked with people like me? Blah, 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 blah. All of that can be answered in that content. So again, that's the one piece of content that you need. You just do it over and over and over again. You take the same ebook and you just offer it again and again and again to prospects on LinkedIn. The beautiful thing about this I love is you don't have to create 50 status updates every day, and you don't have to do, short form videos every day, and you don't have to publish 100 blog posts and all this. You just need one good piece of content that people will be able to read and consume that really helps illustrate who you are, what you do, and why you're good at it. And then you just follow up with them until they read it and go through it. And then they're like, yeah, this is really good. It really resonated. I'd love to see how you could help me with the same thing. So I hope that comes as a relief that you don't have to do all this. Again, if you are publishing tons of content on LinkedIn, and I publish lots of stuff, newsletters, articles, videos, all kinds of stuff. It doesn't hurt you one bit. None of this will hurt you. It's just a lot of work, and it doesn't lead directly to paying clients. Even my own stuff, I publish all the content because it's just good to have awareness and be visible and be out there. But what moves the needle, even for me to this day, is one-on-one messaging. Period. End of story. So that's really what I want to drive home. And as we finish up, I want to just say the 3 key things, if I go back to, my own advice on the secret sauce, it's simply step 1 is having a client-facing profile. And I've given you some tips on how to do that. There's more resources. Step 2 is finding your prospects and doing that one-on-one messaging with that simple kind of one line, one sentence thing where you basically say, do you want these free tips? And then offering some sort of free content that demonstrates your expertise and helps people get to know, like, and trust you. If you do that, if you just do the simple 3 steps in here, you're going to have more business than you know what to do with. And you can wear a popcorn bucket on your head if you want bonus points, right? But I hope that gets you fired up. I hope that gets you inspired to really look at LinkedIn differently, to understand what's possible. And most importantly, to go back to the premise of this whole thing, it's going to help you generate leads on LinkedIn without having to be spammy, irritating, or annoying. Because again, you're not doing anything that would irritate people. All you're doing is you're reaching out to people one-on-one, you're offering content in one sentence, you're asking permission. Notice in these messages, I'm not including the ebook. I'm not assuming the person wants the ebook. I didn't include the PDF. I didn't include a download link. I asked permission so they can just very politely say, no thanks, not for me, not interested, I'm retired, whatever. Nobody ever gets mad at this. No one's getting mad at this one line of, oh, you want to send me free tips? How dare you, right? Like, there's nothing about this that is going to be spammy or pushy or sleazy. Or again, you're not asking for anything. You're not asking for an appointment. You're not asking for them to fill out anything. You're just simply saying, are you interested in this topic? Can I send you tips? If they say yes, then you nurture it along, move it forward. So I hope that fires you up. I would love to hear your thoughts on all this. And we'll go from there. All right. So I hope you found that helpful and enlightening. I think that's one of the key things that I know people really feel overwhelmed with LinkedIn is, I have to publish so much content, and how do I keep up? And I've got to do videos and status updates and polls and quizzes and articles and newsletters. And it's exhausting. Like, it's overwhelming. And I'm here to say, like, no, you just need one good piece of content. What I have found really moves the needle across all these different niches, all these different professions, is one good ebook, 3,000 words to 5,000 words. But it has to be that combination of you and your story and your journey and photos of you, so that the prospect gets to know, like, and trust you and feels connected to you emotionally and gets to feel comfortable with you and envisioning you as their trusted guide, their provider. And then the other part of what the ebook needs to do is obviously demonstrate expertise and actually show them how to get quick wins, or show them, what you're talking about by illustrating case studies of clients you helped. And so there's a lot of different ways you can attack this. And obviously we do a lot of it for clients too. And happy to answer more questions too here in the live chat as we're going. So, all right. Well, we're getting nice compliments. I'm going to, of course, post those. Elizabeth, we appreciate that. I do agree with you, Elizabeth, what you said earlier. I do think Ohio State will beat Northwestern like 1,000,000-0. That's not even a question. Darren says, great stuff. Thank you. Glad you found it helpful. I love it. Most LinkedIn experts are crying because of decreased reach. Yeah, again, and that's the other thing. Sergio brings up a good point. The LinkedIn algorithm's constantly changing in terms of who sees your content. I didn't even talk about this, Sergio, but right now, the way the LinkedIn algorithm works is, say you have 1,000 connections or 1,000 followers, people that are connected to you on LinkedIn, or say they follow you. When you publish a status update or an article on LinkedIn or a video, they don't all see it. All 1,000 people will not see your content. LinkedIn will show it to maybe 17 people. And then based on how quickly they interact with the content, do they like, comment, share, reshare, post, then LinkedIn's algorithm will go, oh, okay, Sergio posted this video. We showed it to 17 people as a test. 13 people liked it. 6 people commented. Okay, we'll show it to another 72 people. And they'll repeat the process. And that's really frustrating, because if you've built this audience, so for example, I have about 24,000 followers and connections. If I hit post on a status update on LinkedIn, maybe 100 people see it. Right. And then depending on how those 100 people interact with it, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, there's no guarantees. So that's why I like the one-on-one messaging better, because okay, I'm going direct to Sergio's front door on LinkedIn. I get to talk to him. I get to offer him something of value. I get to ask his permission to qualify to see if he's even interested in it. And if he is, now I can deliver this free content to Sergio, and I know he's interested, so I can follow up one-on-one, let the content do the, the heavy lifting for it. So love it, love it, love it. Bologna, Italy. I'm coming to visit. My wife wants us to get to Europe next year. I'm Italian. I'm half Italian, Sergio. So maybe we need to hook up. I have heard from friends that have been to Italy, the food there is just night and day better than American Italian food. I still like Pizza Hut, Olive Garden, all our watered down Italian dishes. Oh, I'm getting hungry just talking to you, buddy. All right. I love it. All right. I love it. I love it. All right. Mark's got a comment. I'd love to collaborate with you to add your content in a video. Oh, that's nice. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. And video's not dead by any means, right? So like, Mark's talking about video, like you can definitely use video. It's just what the video is and what it covers, and does it hit those same kind of highlights. So we've got another, again, I can't see who the LinkedIn user is. I would like to speak with you about an ebook. Still have my information. Becca can definitely follow up with you. On my screen, it just says LinkedIn user, so I'm not sure who it is. I will also say, definitely email me. So email me, john@nemomediagroup.com. Just say ebook help or whatever, and then we can kind of take it from there. We do a la carte services like that. So if you're like, I don't want the full LinkedIn lead gen package, I just want help with an ebook, or I just want a profile rewrite or whatever, like we can do that. Like we do a lot of custom stuff too. So I know we have other comments too. I want to make sure we get all the questions answered. Okay. Okay. So then Elizabeth says, if I were to write an article on LinkedIn, should I still ask before sending a link to it? I would say yes. I have found that permission-based is the way to go. Like, so Elizabeth, your one-on-one message might be to a prospect. Hi, John, I just wrote a new article sharing my best tips on blank. Should I send it over? ? Let me decide. Because what I found is when people give you something and you didn't say you wanted it or ask for it, we feel offended. We're like, I didn't want your tips. Like, how dare you? You're spamming me with links. I don't want to read your post. Like, people get all offended by it, whereas I want to feel in control. So as your prospect, I want to feel like I get to choose and I'm in control of the exchange. And that's why asking permission, that simple thing of like, well, hey, would you like to see this, makes a huge difference. And also, more importantly, when someone says yes, then you can go to, like I showed earlier, that engagement tracker. If you set up a Google Sheet, you can see, oh, John Nemo said yes, he wants to see my article. Here's John's name. Here's his LinkedIn profile URL. Here's the article I sent. Here's the date I sent it. Now I know to go follow up with John in a couple of days. Like, hey, how did the article resonate? Did you have a chance to look at it? Maybe I say to Elizabeth, oh, no, I'm going to get to it next week. Thanks for reminding me. I do want to read that. You can make a note, follow up with me on Monday. Hey, what did you think? Did you have a chance to read it? Et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, Sergio, apparently I'm planning a trip to Europe. Let's do it, man. I bet the Italian hospitality would be fantastic. I love it. All right. I love it. I love it. Okay. Frank says, I missed the first part of keyword. This amazing is the keyword. It was amazing. Frank, you missed it. It will never be shared again. It was too valuable, Frank. It was too important. It was too incredible. I will never let you see it. I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm hoping to have a replay. Fingers crossed, tech gods willing. There should be a full replay with a video pretty much as soon as I end the live stream. If you refresh this page or go to this, the page that you registered on, it should have the video embedded as a replay. That's the idea. And Becca already said, yes, we'll send it for sure. Okay. So, and Lenora says, thanks for sharing it. Yeah, definitely put it into play. Absolutely. So again, I want to thank you all so much for coming on. You can get lots of free tips and information at the website, nemomediagroup.com. Again, if you have direct questions, you want to know, can you help me with this or with that, or what would it look like to get your help in this area, just email me, john@nemomediagroup.com. Obviously, too, there's also forms on our website, so you can fill out forms, contact forms, type forms, tell us more about your situation, your business. Becca is a great resource for that as well. We would love to hear from you, right? The whole idea, you probably noticed today, I'm doing exactly what I say to do on this training. I'm trying to provide a bunch of value to you up front. I'm trying to give you a bunch of free tips and quick wins so that you look at it and go, oh, okay. Like, I get what he's doing. It resonates. It feels good. If I was marketing on LinkedIn, this is how I would want to approach it. So if I'm going to choose a LinkedIn partner to help me generate leads, I like John. And right, the whole part of me putting my personality in, and you seeing me and listening to me and me telling my story and talking about my family and my kids and my sense of humor and my terrible fashion choices is I want to be authentic and be open with you so that you can decide. And this is the approach I want you to take yourself with your content, is the more you put your personality and the more you do that with your marketing, then you'll attract people that are like, oh, I like that. I would have fun with you. We could talk sports and we'd laugh together, but also your tips make sense and you'd be a good service provider. That's the real differentiator today with AI and, Google and how everything's commoditized, is we're still picking based on people. That's the other element of this I didn't get into today, but really understanding that at the end of the day, no matter how much technology is involved, the person on the other end of that LinkedIn message is a human being. They have fear and doubt and a sense of humor and emotion, and maybe they're worried about whatever and they're stressed out. And like, they want to know, if I'm going to interact with you, are you a real human? Are you a robot? How do you make me feel? How does it feel to interact with you? Do I feel connected? Do I feel like you're a person I'd enjoy working with? Or do you feel like you're too professional for me, or you're too boring, or you're too high and mighty, or I don't like this, and part of my approach is I do repel clients. Like, I repel certain types of people that are like, I get this, now and again, where people are like, well, I want a more serious partner. I'm like, okay, well, that's not me. Like, I'm not going to wear a suit and tie and fake it. Like, I'm a goofball. I like to have a lot of fun. Doesn't mean I don't do a great job with service and our team doesn't. It's just, that's going to be the vibe if you work with us. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to be, personable. And there's other places that are going to be more professional and highbrow, which is fine. Like, the other great thing is to understand there's over 1 billion with a B people on LinkedIn. You don't need all of them to like you, and you don't need all of them to be your client. What you want to do is attract people who genuinely connect with you. And the only way they can do that is if you're authentic with your content and your approach. So, all right. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So, Elizabeth, if you need a trained image consultant, I'm here. Listen, unless you want to talk Zuba's pants and, the Simpsons pajama pants and all my bad haircuts and all that, then I love it. All right. So Frank is saying nice things. I love it, Frank. That's fantastic. Yes, I'm hopeless with fashion. My wife, Sarah, proves on a daily basis that love is blind, because I am the worst dressed person on the planet. She even said to me the other day, I came out in just a horrible t-shirt and mismatched pajama pants. And she's like, that hurts my eyes. Like, get out of the room. So God bless her. God bless that woman. She puts up with a lot. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate each and every one of you being on. Again, check out the replay, nemomediagroup.com. Email me, john@nemomediagroup.com, if you want more. And we'll end the live stream for now. The replay should be up shortly. So just come back to this page. And thank you all. Have a great weekend.